Hello out there, wonderful people. Hope you are having a fantastic time in the New World Order. Oh dear. No, honestly, I hope you're all okay. Back today with another delicious shit sandwich. Yummy, yummy, yummy in your tummy. Oh, I do try and amuse myself with this whole situation. Some of the things that I find myself talking about and trying to put a kind of a light-hearted spin on it. It's a challenge, guys. I hope you can realise that it's a challenge, but we try our best, or I try our best. I try my best. Anyway, guys, I want to talk about a topic. I'm trying to get to the crux of why we are like a slave species, why we do the things we do, why we keep getting tripped up. I'm really trying to drill down to get behind the psyche, right into the nitty gritty of what holds us back as a species. And, a lot of you will be aware of these videos, but, of course, I have people coming all the time, and it's good to repeat these messages because they repeat the lies on a daily basis, so we have to keep repeating the truth. But I was thinking this week just how deep this particular topic goes into our psyche. Before I get into it, guys, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you'd like to work with me, check out my website, transcendingtimes.org. Without further ado, what are we talking about? We are talking about Saviour programs today. Doesn't it just run deep into our psyche? And down the line, we've all probably dabbled with different kinds of saviors. It's something that you have to take that, what I call the sovereign journey, to grow out of. And a big part of that, and a big punch in the face, is coming to that deep realization that actually nobody is coming to save us. We're here to save ourselves. When we do that individually, that will expand out collectively, and hopefully we can bring an end to this all. But when you think about it, and I was thinking about this the other day, I might have mentioned it in one of my lives recently, the programming of Saviour programs, right? Think about it. I'm in the UK. I'm not in the UK, I'm from the UK. We had Superman, Batman, Super Ted. It's a teddy, but it was a superhero. Just He-Man, Thundercats, like all these different saviors. Just so many of them in terms of the cartoons, the programs, the films. So straight off the bat, we are being fed savior programs. And as we know, when you watch programs, it programs your mind and it filters into your subconscious, especially if you're a child. Up until the age of 8, your subconscious is incredibly malleable. This is why they hit you with school and all the programming while you're young, because it's harder to grow out of it mentally, psychologically. So we have all that, and then if you swerve all that, chances are you were brought up with religion. Religions are the ultimate savior programs. All of them, Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, Islam, it all revolves around a god or several gods. If it's Hinduism, I think Hinduism, there's many different gods, so to speak, and they're all entities in the astral. They're all just negative entities, and they're just feeding on your energy when you're praying. I've said it before. When you pray, you're giving these deities, or these so-called deities, these gods, demigods, you're giving them your energy. They're siphoning your energy just by your rigid belief in them and your prayer energy. So as children, we are bombarded with savior programs. So that's the first thing. It's the indoctrination of it all from a young age. Many children would have had to have attended church or a place of worship, because we have to worship our gods. Oh dear. Can't just have a God that is laid back and chill. No, we need to have a narcissistic God that needs worship and prayer and all this attention because he's so insecure. So we see right from a young age what they're trying to do is, we need little Johnny to have a saviour. So we're presented with so many of them. And then another thing that happens as well to most people, well, to everyone has had trauma in their lives. Everyone has had trauma when they were children. Some people have had more trauma than others. Some people have gone through absolutely horrific things. And even if you haven't, you still probably had to deal with, school, bullying, unconscious parenting, that kind of thing. So we grow up quite traumatized. Just being here, just the birthing process itself, I've spoken about that before. The amount of times I've gone into regression sessions with clients where they were a baby and the birthing process was difficult. They couldn't get out the birth canal. The mum was stuck in labour for 24 hours. Imagine you're a baby. You're struggling to survive right off the bat. So we all have this trauma, and we grow up, and it's there, right? And some people take to drugs and alcohol and overeating and whatever, weed, smoking, to kind of make it more easy to cope with, to paper over the cracks. But a lot of the time, people flock to these saviour programs. They flock to religions. They flock to the New Age. I spoke before, like I've always said, I understand why people are drawn to religions and the New Age, because this place is difficult. People have trauma. They've suffered, and they want something to lean into. They need a pillar they've never felt safe before in their life. Their childhoods were not safe. So when they grow up, it's almost like you develop these, they're kind of like imaginary friends. Let's just call it what it is. Guides. Well, they're not imaginary friends, because oftentimes entities will masquerade as your guides and your God and your angels and Jesus. And so it's a little bit more than just imaginary friends. But we lean into these things because it makes us feel better. It gives us comfort, and we don't feel alone. People don't feel alone. And these deities, gods, angels, guides, they provide some kind of saviour program for people. And then what happens is people give total power away, whereby they hang off every piece of information they may be channeling or reading in the Bible or Quran or whatever. They hang off every word, and they just give it all over. But saviour programs, and if it doesn't get those people, you have your political saviours. And what are we seeing now? We're seeing that with Trump. He's in his second term, causing absolute chaos, but he's got a cult following. And why has he got a cult following? Because people realise that things are bad, and instead of looking to themselves, what can I do? How can I take responsibility in my own life? How can I plan for this myself? What better decisions can I make to transcend my way through this difficult time period we're living in? Far easier to just look at Trump. It's all right. He's going to sort everything out. And he has got millions, even people that aren't even in the US. I made a video recently on my TikTok. You got people sitting in their homes in the north of England. I've got a friend on my Facebook. He's in Burnley. It's a small industrial town in the UK. He's waiting for Trump and QAnon to save him in Burnley in the UK. I could make another video about Trump and all the damage that he's done and the false promises and Operation Warp Speed. It's not really about Trump and what he's done. I'm just making the point about the Saviour program, how people gravitate to not just deities, guides, and gods. Your Saviour program could be your politician or your president or your prime minister. And in all scenarios, it becomes a cult where the cult leader cannot be questioned. You try counter arguing with any of these cult-like Trump supporters, you will not get anywhere. You try counter arguing with someone who's deeply religious, you will not get anywhere. I can count on the number of my 5 fingers the amount of people that I've managed to convince about Trump or religion. I actually had one religious person the other day that said, actually, I've changed my mind based on some of the things that you said. But it's very rare, is my point, because they are so anchored. It's a mental schism. And this is a strong word, but it needs to be used. It's a retardation of the psyche to the point where they want to look for a leader or saviour. And I don't mean that in a detrimental way. I just mean that through their own trauma, through their own suffering, through their own desperation of searching outside of themselves, they've actually managed to, retard their brain to the point where they can't see the deceptions. They can't see when, for example, Trump says something, but then he does the opposite. They can't see these things. It's almost like it becomes invisible to them because there's a mental schism going on. And so it's mainly out of desperation. And in the UK, it's happening a lot now. There's, I said on my Facebook, there's like a new saviour every day. They have their saviours lined up like ducks in a row. Like this is the point I want to make. They literally do not care which saviour you choose. They do not care if you choose Archangel Michael over Trump. They really don't care, because they know that if you go with the Saviour program, you're not in your sovereignty, and this is where they don't want you. And I keep speaking about this on videos. It's all about sovereign frequency. You know, that is a frequency that is the exact opposing opposite to that is being amplified here, that of slavery, rigidity, authority. And what is interesting, and what I've been speaking lately about, is that the rug pulls, the dump in the punch bowls. I speak about it all the time. These are becoming more and more frequent. And I've noticed with a lot of truth people that I follow, sometimes I've been following them for a long time. Not following, hanging off every word they say, but looking at their work and actually in some cases admiring their work. And then all of a sudden, there's that rug pull, there's that dump in the punch bowl where they've done 90% truth, excellent, resonate, and then they're recommending that we need to sign a petition, or they're recommending that we need to go and protest, which is a form of begging. That's not sovereign frequency. Or they're recommending that we follow this ex-politician that's going to go back into Parliament and debate. Parliament, Congress, this is theatre. This is a circus for the peasants. Nothing ever changes there. It literally is it's an act. They're all actors and actresses to give you the illusion of choice. There is no choice. Their presidents and prime ministers are lined up years in advance. Doesn't matter what you put in the voting box. It's already decided. So this is what I'm seeing a lot of. I'm seeing a lot of the people with big followings, large followings, even people whose work that I've admired And then all of a sudden, I'm like, hang on a minute. Now you're telling me to put my faith in Trump. You've done all this work, and there's the rug pull. Okay, you're diverting me back into anti-sovereign energy, slave energy. That's the diversion. That's the rug pull. Sovereign, 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 slavery. Back into slavery. And this was my point with David Icke, which triggers a lot of people, which I get. And don't get me wrong, right? David Icke woke me up. And I could say a lot more about some of the people that's involved with him. But I want to stick to this topic today. But he woke me up, and there's nothing that I would like more than people like him to be on our team, right? But some of the guests he's having, Elizabeth April, Laura Eisenhower, like prominent New Agers. I just had a client who followed some meditation of David Icke's show, some woman, I forget her name, and he did not end up in a good way. He got interfered with badly. And I went on her YouTube, and it's all New Age stuff. He's had the likes of Tommy Robinson on his platform. And I've noticed that he's leading people back into appealing to authority, to begging protests, petitions. So yeah, we got to a point, but now we're being led back into the very thing that we were told is not good for us. It's almost like human race, get back on your knees, because you're asking us now to beg and to protest. And guys, there's so much more. I mean, I'll mention it now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about. This is obviously going to be opening a hornet's nest when I talk about this stuff, but a couple of years ago, I got invited onto Gareth Icke's show, and I'll speak anywhere. And at the time, I still quite liked what David was saying. He wasn't getting all these weird guests on and stuff. Although I questioned why he would be given like Wembley Stadium and stuff like that. Well, Wembley Arena, which it's not exactly Wembley Stadium, but anyway. So I got invited on by one of his researchers contacted me. Someone had one of my people that subscribed to me had recommended my work to the researcher. So I don't know if I was actually picked out by any of the Ickes to appear on the show. So, like I say, I speak anywhere. I go on all the New Age channels and all that stuff because I've got a message that I want to get across to people. And it's very much centered around sovereignty and being your own leader and dropping these Saviour programs and everything. And so, first of all, we arranged a time and date, and I turn up on the day, and I'm waiting for the link to get onto the show. 15 minutes, still haven't received it. 10 minutes, still not. 5 minutes, still. Okay, this doesn't look like it's happening. So anyway, it comes to the time, so I email her, and I'm like, I'm waiting, like, is there a problem? And she said, oh, I'm so sorry, I was going to email you to ask if we could cancel and rearrange. I'm thinking, oh, right, okay, so you were going to email me now, like, after it has already supposedly taken place? Like, I'm busy too, I have clients and stuff. Like, I didn't say that, but I'm thinking I'm busy too. Like, so anyway, she did apologise. I thought, okay, look, I'll give it another go. So we rescheduled. That's really not got much to do with it. It was just weird. And then anyway, so the day comes, and I get told just before that I've got 15 minutes, right? Now, you guys will know, to unpack my work, my body of work in 15 minutes, I might as well really not have gone on at all, to be honest with you, although I did do quite a good job within the 15 minutes, I have to say. So anyway, I'm thinking, all right, I'll do what I can in 15 minutes. So I get on the call, and Gareth Icke's there, and yeah, he's all right. And then I start talking about the New Age and how it's dangerous. And this is the weird thing that I thought was weird at the time. It's been in the back of my mind, but I kind of left it there. But every time I mentioned the New Age, he would change my words. It was like, oh, so you mean religion, right? And I'm like, no, I mean New Age. And then I'd say the New Age again. He'd say, oh, just like religion, you mean? And it felt like he was putting words in my mouth, right? To kind of change what I was saying. Because we know that the New Age was created as the new religion. This is why Helena Blavatsky, the Dark Luciferian, she was behind the New Age, because religion was starting to lose popularity. So they needed something else. And then I look at all the New Agers that he's got on his show, and I'm thinking, was he trying to like divert me away from exposing the New Age? And now, as time's gone on, I'm thinking, yeah, that's what happened there. And guys, I don't say anything. I don't say these things just to be dramatic or just to be controversial. I say them because that happened, and then I'm seeing the timeline play out, and then I'm seeing David Icke sharing petitions. He's always on the front line of these protests, which always take place on a Saturday. The people are not even in their buildings. The politicians aren't even there. And you're marching up and down ley lines. You know, in London, it's a very strong energy point on the Earth's grid. So you're getting your energy harvested as you're shouting and screaming at empty buildings. The energy of it is begging, right? It's not sovereign. Sovereign is, no, we're not doing it. No. Which used to be his message, right? But now it's switched. And so, but protesting is like, please stop doing it. It's not the same energy. It's not the same frequency. And I can't, like, it's just gone too far with him now. There's been something really unpleasant that happened to me, which I don't want to go into, but it was not very pleasant, which basically confirmed it for me. So I don't know why I got onto that, but this went where it needed to go, right? So I needed to. But you do you, right? Like, I'm just like, you guys, you subscribe to who you want, but I'm just saying what's going on is that these popular people, and the other thing is, my channel has been shadow banned forever, right? It doesn't get shown to people. A lot of the time people subscribe, they don't get notifications, right? His channel and a lot of other truthers, all of a sudden their channels got reactivated, but they got reactivated without any shadow ban. And now his uploads are getting upward of 98,000, I saw one, 100,000 views. And I'm still sitting on here like 2,500 views a video. I mean, I'm not in this for views, I'm not in this for popularity, but I'm just saying, I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at him and I'm like, all right, he's more popular. He's got like nearly 1 million subscribers. He's been around a while. Okay, right, but still. So there's just so many red flags. But anyway, my point was you do you. You subscribe to who you subscribe to, right? You make your own decisions. You show your own discernment. But the point I'm trying to say, and this is why I got into this, is because these people, many of them, are hooking you back round. They're hooking you back round into believing in authority, appealing to authority. You are your highest authority. No politician, no government member, Congress member is ever going to sort this mess out. It's just a waste of time. It's doing the same old things that have led us to where we are. And right now I'm noticing a lot of this with prominent truth people, that they've done, some of them, incredible work down the years, and then all of a sudden, oh, what we need to do is we need to write into a politician. David Icke said recently, we need to put more pressure on politicians. What? Put more pressure on politicians? So anyway, I went around a different topic there, but it is what it is. My point being is, right now, and even before now, they have all these saviours lined up, and they don't care which one that you pick, because as long as you pick one, you are not in your sovereign energy, you're not in your sovereign frequency. And this is the underlying cause of our issues as a species. Historically, we always want someone or something outside of ourselves to come and sort our mess out, to take responsibility and change things. And you know, it's weak and it's lazy at this point, because where we are now, we should know better, right? And it's what's concerning me is there's a lot of new people waking up, and they're all being funneled. You know, now the likes of David Icke and other big truth channels are unshadow banned. All these people are going to gravitate towards them, and they're going to be funneled back into the machine of politics, begging, and all of that kind of stuff. So dropping the Saviour program is what we need to do. Whether that's Jesus, whether that's Trump, whether that's your guides, you have to take that punch in the face and realise that you are your own saviour and you are your own leader. And that's, like I say, that's where they don't want us individually and collectively. They want us begging, they want us pleading, giving our power away, whether that be to God, whether that be to politicians. It doesn't matter to them. And I just see this so much still out there. And it's a problem, but it's also one of the biggest solutions. The more of us that do that, the quicker hopefully we can come out of all of this. So I don't think I've got anything more to add here, but yeah, let me know what you think. Hit the like,